each other. Turn the beat up, turn it real loud. Turn the beat up, turn it real loud. Hold me to my word this time. I'ma take another ride. Call me on my business. Call me on my cell at night. Take it to the limit, babe. Don't ask me to come in. No one can tell. What was your word? What was your word? Oh, take me down. You give me
And welcome back to the Spicy Sports Show with Sam Cerrone and Tom Crane, coming to you live from Portland, Oregon, and Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I'm excited because in about 11 days, I actually get to go back to Pennsylvania again for work, and then after that, I get to go right before I go on vacation, get to go see Tom and the new wife, Marlena, new married couple. Yay!
Okay, you're way too excited. Move on.
I know. It is the wedding fever, I guess, the hangover, so to speak. Anyway, NBA kicked off, the new season kicked off July 1st, which means the salary cap bumped up a little bit, and players got paid. And when I mean got paid, I mean there are players that I didn't know were still in the NBA getting a lot of money. So let's take a look at some of these deals. And in fact, pulling up an article here of arguably one of the worst, about the 10 worst deals that I've seen so far. So I don't know if you have a list, Tom, of worst deals, but I have some here to talk about. One of the ones that comes up to the top of the list is Harrison Barnes. With Kevin Durant going to... With Kevin Durant going to the Warriors, Harrison Barnes was now, wasn't able to stay on the team. So his deal for Harrison Barnes, a player that he is not worth a max contract, let's be honest here. But for a player that averaged about under 12 points a game, shot under 50% from three, under 50% from the floor as a whole, not even an 80% free throw shooter, is getting a 4-year, $94 million deal.
Oh, I need to laugh at this for a second. Oh my gosh, that is just ridiculous.
And just to compare that, another former Tar Heel, Marvin Williams, who's still in the league, by the way. I didn't even know that Marvin Williams is still in the league. He was drafted in, I think, 04 or 05. Got a 4-year, $54.5 million deal to stay with the Hornets, which is roughly about, a little over $12 million a season, give it or take.
Jeez.
You have Evan Turner. Obviously, you know the name, Tom. Evan Turner. 4 years, $70 million with the Portland Trailblazers. I mean, the Trailblazers, not a terrible contract, I would think. I think Evan Turner has had a lot of, as a number 2 overall pick, has a lot of potential still. I think he's a good distributor for a forward. Averaged under 4.5 assists last season. But I think he could do better. Now here come some of the more ridiculous contracts. Timofey Mozgov, a player who did not play in the finals, gets a 4-year, $64 million deal with the LA Lakers. Joakim Noah, 4 years, $72 million with the New York Knicks. And that's just some of these ridiculous contracts. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think, and Tom, they have to spend about 90% of the new revenue for this upcoming season. 90% of the cap. But Tom, how ridiculous are these contracts? Like,
they compared to other leagues, and I know this is like a huge conversation point. Compared to the MLB and the NFL, these contracts are super ridiculous. This free agency, it was like an explosion of money just rained down from the clouds, or pretty much blizzard down from the clouds. It's over $1 billion in salary just for, I would say, let's see here, at least 10 to 15 free agents. $1 billion. And it's just, it seems reckless, and it goes away from the game. Basically, what's happening right now is it's showing people, hey, get up to the NBA level, show them that you can play with the team, and you'll be making millions in no time at all. The league minimum is at least, what was it, like in the 100,000s, of course. And that's a decent take, but it's just going away from the game. I know in MLB, Bryce Harper is going to be asking for a league high of $750 million when he becomes a free agent next year, or that's the talks right now. He'll probably get it, especially staying with the Nationals, maybe a 9-year deal, but still, that's 9 years. These little contracts of 4 years for $72 million, it's ridiculous. They're betting big on players who are just, I'm not going to say average, but are not superstars. Mozgov, I can say that he is a decent center. He can pull down the buckets. He can defend well. He's a big body, but paying that much for him, especially since he was sitting on the bench during the finals, I don't know what they're doing. That's my spiel.
By the way, do you know who right now is the highest player in the league after this offseason so far?
For the player salaries for next season?
Yeah.
James Harden.
Nope.
26. No, I thought it was James Harden.
Nope. Mike Conley. 5 years, $153 million. That means he's averaging $30 million a season for 5 years. A guy who's made 0 All-Stars, has made 1 All-NBA defensive team, which was second team back in 2013. He's going to be the highest paid player in the league for this upcoming season.
Trivia question for you. Name the other 2 people that actually were paid $30 million and up. There's only 2 other people that did this.
Kobe?
Yes.
Oh, man. The second one, I feel like it's too easy. Michael Jordan.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Only those 2 people who have won multiple championships, who have had all-star games, and Michael Jordan, who's been in the dunk contest, of course, has gotten 30+ mil a year. And then Mike Conley comes along. It's like, okay, sure, let's give him this amount.
Yeah, he's a guy who's averaged under about 13.5 points for his career, 9-year career, and yet he's going to make over 2.5 times more than Steph Curry, who makes $10 million. That deal a couple years ago is a bargain for the Warriors.
Yeah,
I mean
surprised.
that's the equivalent of what Russell Wilson got when his rookie deal and they were winning championships. I mean, he wasn't getting paid squat. That's $10 million for a unanimous MVP, a guy who's won a championship, back-to-back MVPs. Oof, $10 million a season, that's a steal. And you look at other contracts too. I'm just going to pull up other ones. Solomon Hill, 4 years, $52 million. I mean, he was a first-round pick. Again, not that great. Evan Fournier, 5 years, $85 million with the Magic. I mentioned Mozgov, Noah, DeMar DeRozan's getting a pretty big amount of chunk change here. 5 years, $139 million. It makes sense. He's a franchise guy, but that much, I don't know. Kent Bazemore's getting 4 years, $70 million. I mean, these dudes are cashing in. It's crazy. And, it's funny because there were a lot of NFL players tweeting. I forget which one exactly tweeted this, but he said, and I quote, I have to Google some of these players' names to know who they are and the kind of contract they're getting, which is insane, to think about that. But then at the end of the day, when you realize it, I mean, the salary caps are a little bit different. The salary, I think, for the NFL is a little bit higher, but they're dividing it over 53 players, whereas the NBA, I mean, you're dividing it over, 12, 14 players. So, I mean, it makes a little bit more sense when you kind of break it down a little bit. And all these contracts are guaranteed. That's the crazy part for the NBA. All these contracts are guaranteed, whereas the NFL is not. You see these that's why when you announce NFL contracts, you have to announce, they got, I think with Andrew Luck, he got about $130 million, but only 89 is guaranteed.
Yeah.
So, that the true number is that he's getting 89. And the Kaepernick deal too. I think he got 5 years, $100 million, but only a certain amount is guaranteed, or I don't know if any of it's guaranteed really for him. So it's kind of crazy how you put in these little clauses and you see these big deals announced because agents want other people to know, hey, I got this guy a big contract. But at the end of the day, you have to look into it a little bit closer, say how much is actually guaranteed in the NFL versus when you sign with the NBA. Hey, it's a pretty big deal. It's crazy. I feel like after this, a lot of kids are gonna be like, you know what, I'm switching to basketball. It's harder to make, but when you get there, you get paid. I don't know. It sounds so crazy, but. Anyway, we'll take a short break. When we come back, we have the MLB's All-Star Game. Tom, you have a lot to talk about there. You have the Home Run Derby. I think there's a celebrity softball game, if you want to talk about that. And then the All-Star Game, who's starting and how many Cubbies made it. So we'll talk about that right after the break. So here we have some more music here. Smokey Robinson, classic here, cruising on the Spicy Sports Show with Sam Cerrone and Tom Crane on Spreaker Radio.